Hi, it's Alaska Granny. I just got back from a shopping excursion. I thought I would share with you some of the items that I'm adding to my prepper pantry and my food storage stockpile. And remember, it isn't all just about food. You want to make sure that you have all the supplies that keep your life running smoothly. So the first thing I bought was a big old jug of laundry detergent. It's a great idea to keep your laundry done all the time. Don't let it build up so that you have stacks and stacks and piles, because you can actually create an emergency by not having clean socks and underwear or an outfit to put together and get wherever you need to go. Keep up to date on your laundry. Make sure that your clothes are clean and that you have the clothes that you need. If you have piles of dirty laundry and the electricity goes out, or the water stops running, or you simply run out of time in your busy schedule. We all have very busy lives, and it can seem like just one more task. I don't have time today to start a load of laundry. But it's really important that you keep up on those just basic chores so that your life runs smoothly. Along with clean laundry or clean dishes, I bought a package of dishwasher tablets so that I can make sure I always have my dishes done. Something I do every day as a routine is I make sure that the kitchen is clean before I go to bed. I start the dishwasher. In the morning, as soon as I get up, I can unload it. And it doesn't really matter to me if it's a few dishes or an overwhelming supply. I always have the dishes done on a regular basis. It's into a routine, just like brushing your teeth, making your bed, doing the dishes, and then your kitchen is clean. So it doesn't matter if company drops by or the power stops running and then all you have are dirty dishes. You don't have to worry about it. They're just chores that become routine and they help your life run smoothly. Clean clothes, clean dishes, a clean kitchen help me have that peace of mind. We wouldn't have peace of mind around here if I didn't have a nice bag of dog food for my little dog Teddy. I don't usually buy one this size, but in the grocery store here, the prices were astronomical. I was able to order this on Amazon for about half the price of what the dog food is locally. And then they ship the giant bag to my door. Don't order more dog food though than you can reasonably rotate. It does get spoiled, it does get stale, and some of the components even get rancid. But my dog likes this, so as long as I continue to store it into an airtight container, make sure that he's eating it regularly, then it's going to last. I'm going to make the best of it. I wouldn't have ordered 2 bags of this size simply because my dog is little. If you have a big dog, plan out strategically what amount of dog food you need to have for your dog. And don't forget your other pets as well. I just only have a dog right now. People have left comments on my channel that there are no shortages, prices aren't going up. So my question is, if there are no shortages, why are countries putting bans on exporting food? If there was plenty, they would be happy to continue to sell it and trade overseas with other items that they might not have available in their own country. But there are definite exporting bans on food, which is a wake-up call if you don't think foods are in shorter supply, harder to get, and the prices are going up. I just don't think you're either shopping or paying attention. One of my strategies for food is if I can't grow it, hunt it, or fish for it and preserve it myself, then I need to stack it to the rafters. So I bought some additional canned foods. These are food items that I generally have a nice supply, but part of the reason of being a prepper is that you are working through your pantry. So I've been using some of my food, then I rotate it and replace it. So these are some of the food items that I'm buying to replace some of the foods that I've used out of my stockpile. So this will go in my prepper pantry, and any of the older food in my prepper pantry goes into my working pantry. And no, I don't have one of those gigantic big basements or cellars or giant pantries. It's all kind of shuffled around in my house, but that's still what I consider my prepper pantry. Whether I have it under the bed, stashed in a closet, hidden in a bookshelf, wherever it is, that's my prepper pantry, and that's how I store my extra supplies. What foods did I buy to replace the foods that I've been using? First, I bought some canned meats. I bought some cans of salmon. And yes, maybe we live in Alaska where you can fish for salmon, but salmon is definitely in shorter supply this year. The salmon population is declining. They are putting restrictions on fishing, whether you are a commercial fisherman or a subsistence level that you're providing the fish for your family. Plus, just because you go fishing doesn't mean you're catching anything. Otherwise, they would just call it catching. I also bought a few cans of the Hereford roast beef. This is from Brazil. I think it's excellent meat and it isn't very expensive, especially when you look at what the price of fresh meat is in the meat counter in the grocery store. And even if you think, well, I'm going to buy it, bring it home, can it, put it away, that is a lot of work and a lot of extra expense. For me, this is the easiest and most economical way to put beef away in my prepper pantry, my food storage stockpile. If you haven't tried the Hereford beef, try it. It is really quite delicious. It's versatile, it's tender, it's already fully cooked. You just need to open the can, add it into your meals, and it can really go a long way towards giving you all that lovely meat that you want to have. I bought some cans of sliced potatoes. These are easy to add into soup, stews, and casseroles. It's also an easy way to make a quick potato salad in the summertime. If you don't have time to peel and boil potatoes, you can still make a quick and easy potato salad with the cans of potatoes. Is it going to be the best ever? Probably not. But the whole point is getting a meal on the table, having something to eat, and going on with your life, in my opinion. I bought a few cans of evaporated milk. It's a great way to have a small amount of milk, especially when I go out to my granny camp, which is my Alaska off-grid cabin. I like to take the Nido Fortificado or the powdered milk out there, but sometimes the evaporated milk is nice for some of the creamy meals that I might want to make. Now, I do have one suggestion when you're shopping for canned milk. Make sure that you read the label carefully, because I did find some a few months ago that said filled milk, which means it has oil added. And so I now look carefully to make sure that I don't make that mistake again. You want to look for ones that are just milk and not filled milk. The price of tomatoes is astronomical. I don't know about where you live, but that's what it is here in Alaska. So it's a great idea to stock up on some canned tomatoes, which is what I did today. I bought a few cans of diced tomatoes with green chilies in them. It's like Rotel, but this is the generic variety, so it's quite a bit less expensive. That's one of the challenges we have with food storage going forward. If we can't find the foods we want, sometimes we have to choose something at a higher price, and that's our only option. And that could become the only option we have. And that can really be a budget buster if we're trying to stick to our grocery budget and live within our means. It makes it more challenging. So if you can find some of the things that you need at a good price and you know it's something that you need in the future, it might be good to stock up on the few extras so that you have those items. But don't ever go into debt buying your prepping supplies or adding to your groceries. You need to live within your means or below your means. If you are in debt, please pay off your bills. Get that debt gone out of your life. Then set aside some money for emergencies so that you have that cash if you need it, depending on what could arise in your life. And there are all kinds of emergencies when, trust me, cash is king and can really save the day. So stock up on the foods that you can and then stash a few dollars as well. As far as tomatoes go, there are all kinds of different tomato products that maybe you enjoy using. Everything from just tomato sauce, tomato paste, canned tomatoes, salsas, pasta sauces. So whatever are the tomato-based products that you enjoy, have a few extras in your prepper pantry and your food storage stockpile, because tomato products have been problematic as far as being in shorter supply, rising prices, and I know there's something that are popular around my house, so I like to have lots of varieties and several of each kind. The price of a loaf of bread is ridiculously expensive here in Alaska, and I'm sure that you've seen the prices going up as well. So I've been using my bread machine to make loaves of bread, and every time I use it, I feel like I've saved several dollars. So I stocked up on some yeast. You can buy yeast in a jar, but I like the little packets because then I don't have to worry about I didn't measure it precisely enough. I can add my ingredients into my bread machine, plug it in, turn it on, and it does all the work for me. I store my yeast in the freezer. It helps it last longer, but it's one of those foods that doesn't last forever. So you need to make sure that you're rotating the supplies of things you have, including your baking supplies. Two of the foundation foods of a prepper pantry, foods that you could live on if you couldn't have anything else, are rice and beans. Did you realize that if you didn't have anything else, you would need 300 pounds of rice and 150 pounds of beans. That could keep you alive for a year because they form a complete protein. They have all the essential amino acids, but can you think of anything that would be more work and less appetizing than just beans and rice every single day? That's why you want to have a wide variety of other foods so that you can take the plain beans and rice and you can turn them into bigger, better, more interesting meals. And if you're in a hurry and time is short, you can open a few cans or packages of foods and make a quick meal, because cooking beans and cooking rice can take a lot of time and a lot of extra water and fuel that maybe we wouldn't have the electricity or the access to a stove to prepare those foods. So there are so many different ways that we can prepare that we need to take into account all of the different factors. We want foods that we could just tear open and eat if there's no electricity, foods that we could prepare together to make an easy meal, and then the longest lasting foods like beans and rice that you can store in an airtight container and can last for 30 years. Canned food isn't going to last forever, but it is going to last for several years. I've had great luck with most canned foods lasting past the date on them, but it still depends on what food it is. Meats have lasted longer, fruits not so much. So you still need to pay attention to the dates on your cans and try to rotate them within a reasonable amount of time. Because you need to remember, your prepper pantry is a working pantry. You need to work your way through it. Rotate the foods and then replace them so that you continue to have a fresh supply of the foods that you enjoy eating. Figure out what are the foods that you eat on a regular basis. Try to find a way to have those in your prepper pantry and your food storage stockpile. Try to have at least a week's worth of food, and then 2 weeks. Then work your way up to a month's worth of food, even 2 or 3 months, or even 6 months. And then you can have also the buckets of dried foods like rice, beans, oatmeal, pasta, the foods that can be stored the longest, for the longest haul. And you don't have to buy Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. You don't have to buy 5-gallon buckets. You can clean very well plastic and glass bottles, get them clean and dry completely, and you can seal up some of the dried foods in it that will last the longest. Into the clean containers, you can store those longest lasting dried foods. The rice, beans, lentils, split peas, oatmeal. The dried foods that will naturally last the longest can be put away, and then you'll have them even in little containers that you can get out and use it on a regular basis. I like to store a lot of those dried foods in smaller containers because it isn't practical for me to go get a 5-gallon bucket and open it up if I need some, say, oatmeal or pasta or rice or beans in my pantry. So yes, it's nice to put the big buckets away for the longest haul, but also store some of those long-lasting foods in smaller containers so that you have them available if you need to continue to rotate them and add them into your daily working pantry. Try to get an accurate estimate of the amount of food that you eat on a daily basis, weekly basis. If you can estimate the amount of food you need, then you have an idea of how much you want to have in your stockpile so that you can continue to have that prepper lifestyle, that things are going smoothly because you've provided the things that you need, the lifestyle insurance that every day can be the best it can be. Then if challenges come along, we don't have to worry about getting a meal on the table or grabbing something to eat immediately. We have something to eat, and then we can figure out how to face whatever those other challenges are. That gives me a lot of peace of mind, and that's why I'm glad to be a prepper. If you have other suggestions on items we want to include in our prepper pantry, our food storage stockpile, and our prepping supplies, leave it in the comments below. We can learn a lot from each other and get ideas from the suggestions that we share. I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might enjoy it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.